Imagine a plant so powerful it was treated like liquid gold by the Romans. Yet today, you are taught to kill it with poison. This is purslane. It grows for free in the cracks of your driveway, packing more omega-3 fatty acids than most fish, and more vitamin E than any engineered green on the market. In the 14th century, a garden like this was not just a source of food. It was a threat to the crown. To the ruling elite, a self-sufficient peasant was a peasant they could not control. If you could harvest a pharmacy and a grocery store from your own backyard, you did not need the king's permission to exist. This is why they tried to tax these plants out of existence. In the next minutes, we are exposing the illegal medieval vegetables that big agriculture spent centuries trying to erase from your memory. I'm going to show you how these crops were intentionally replaced by nutrient-deficient versions that are easier to patent and tax. You will discover the hidden chemistry of plants like skirret and chickweed that provide more energy than modern grains. By the end of this, you will understand that your modern grocery list is not a choice. It is a curated menu of biological dependence. You feel the rising cost of living every time you walk down the produce aisle. You pay a premium for organic labels, yet you still feel drained and malnourished. It is a subtle, grinding frustration. You are working harder than ever to afford food that is objectively worse than what a medieval peasant grew in the dirt for free. You have been conditioned to see the world's most nutritious plants as weeds and the world's most hollow crops as essentials. You are a victim of an ancient marketing campaign designed to make you pay for what nature provides for nothing. The psychology of control starts with the stomach. If a government can control the seeds, they can control the people. In the medieval era, land was power, but some plants were too resilient to be contained by fences. These were the rebel crops. Big agriculture cannot patent a weed that grows faster than gossip at a church potluck. Therefore, they must convince you it is a pest. They rebrand resilience as a nuisance and diversity as a danger. They want you buying their uniform, fragile seeds that require synthetic fertilizers and constant babying. They want a garden that cannot survive without their intervention. Consider the story of skirret. In the Middle Ages, this sweet, white root was known as the comfort of the poor man's table. It was naturally sweeter than any carrot and required almost zero effort to grow. Once planted, it multiplied underground like a hidden savings account of calories. Medieval nobility loved it so much, they demanded it be grown in palace gardens, but the tax collectors hated it. Because it was so easy to grow and so hard to track, it was gradually pushed out of commercial farming in favor of crops that required more labor, more land, and more oversight. A vegetable that feeds people for free is a vegetable that produces no tax revenue. To reclaim your sovereignty, you must follow the medieval framework of the Forbidden Garden. First is the nutrient density strike. Stop looking for volume and start looking for intensity. Plants like chickweed contain saponins that act as nature's anti-inflammatory medicine. Second, consider the resilience factor. Choose crops like sea kale, plants that thrive in poor soil and harsh weather, where modern genetically modified organisms would simply wither. Third is chemical independence. Medieval farmers valued the leafy tops of turnips more than the roots because the greens contain 4 times more calcium and twice the protein. They ate the whole plant while we are taught to throw the best parts away. It is a tragedy to realize that our ancestors were more biologically independent than we are today. They lived in a world of physical hardship, but they possessed a wealth of nutritional knowledge that has been systematically stripped from us. We look at a wild, overgrown yard and see a mess, but a medieval survivor saw a life insurance policy. They knew that the best source was hunger, and the best medicine was the weed growing under their boots. If you are ready to stop being a customer of the industrial food machine and start being a producer of your own health, subscribe to the channel and like the video right now. The war for your independence is being fought in the soil, and the most powerful weapons are the seeds they told you to hate. Skirret, purslane, and chickweed are not just plants, they are a legacy of resistance. These vegetables were only one part of the ancient survival manual. While the peasants were mastering the garden, the Roman engineers were mastering the very laws of physics to build a world that functioned without a single watt of electricity. There is a reason their concrete is still standing while our bridges crumble. To see the 12 forgotten technologies that make our smart devices look like toys, you need to watch this next video.